Hi there, I'm Ben Rowson from the Conchological Society of Great Britain and Ireland.
And I'm Suleiman, Mustapha. I'm based at Rowson Research.
And we're both really interested in slugs, like the ones you get in this book here. Now, if you've tried to identify slugs, you'll know that you can only get so far by just looking at the outside of the animals. Often they're very variable, no two of them look exactly the same, or they can look very similar to one another on the outside, and it's only once you look inside that you really get the key differences. So in a book like this, there's lots of information on how to recognise them on external features, but there's a section at the back about how to dissect dead ones and recognise them based on the organs you find inside. So we're going to show you that in a little bit more detail for a few species that you might commonly encounter and need to tell apart. To do these dissections you need some equipment. It's very useful to have a stereo microscope like this. We've got good lighting, so we don't need any extra lights. Underneath the microscope you're going to need a dish of some kind. It's good to have a heavy dish like this glass one, and it's got some black dissecting wax in there, which is really important because that's going to be something that can grip the pins that you stick in it to hold the slug in place. Talking of things holding things in place, here's some non-stick matting which I've put underneath, and it stops it slipping around. Then you will need forceps. I always use 2 pairs of forceps, so you've got something in each hand, and that's a really good way to move the different parts of the organs around. And then to cut the slug open, you use these a bit less than you might think perhaps. You need a sharp scalpel or just a blade to cut them open, or some spring scissors like these, which are really good. Essentially just tiny little scissors that you can get in close. Finally, last but not least, you need some pins. Either quite big insect pins like these long ones for big slugs, or very small ones like these little minutin pins, which are for entomology and they're used in insect collections. But they're really useful, especially when you've got small fiddly parts that you need to reposition. Then you're going to want to do the whole thing either underwater or in alcohol. Our specimens are preserved in alcohol, so we just keep them in alcohol throughout the dissection, but you could use water as well.
We are going to show you how to distinguish between 3 pairs of species. First of all, we're going to dissect Ambigolimax parvipenis and Ambigolimax valentianus. Then we'll move on to Deroceras reticulatum and Deroceras agreste. And finally, we're going to dissect and show you how to distinguish between Arion rufus and Arion vulgaris.
So first of all, we're going to show you the 2 Ambigolimax species, which are now very common in gardens and towns and habitats like that across the UK. And this is a general introduction on how you can open up the body of a small slug. You don't have to be particularly skilled at this. You can be a bit of a butcher, really. There are some bits where you need to be more delicate, but opening up the slug like a sausage or a bicycle tyre, it doesn't really matter how you do it. We're using a scalpel there. The head end of the slug is at the bottom and the tail end is at the top. So we're cutting along the left hand side of the body, just by the edge of the sole. And that gives you the maximum kind of safety, so you're not going to hit any of the reproductive organs. Then you need to fix it in place while you're prising it open. Going back to the tail just helps you move the skin of the body around. There's not really any important organs at that end of the body. And these are those headless insect pins that we mentioned before. They're very useful because they're so small. How many do you normally need to do the dissections?
Oh, it depends on how comfortable you are. I tend to use them to pin the specimen down so that they don't move rapidly while you're trying to identify the structures. So they make it much more affixed.
There's the spring scissors coming back in, so you can use them to make a cut across the head, across the back of the slug, And if you kind of put the blade under the skin, then you're unlikely to hit any of the important organs if you cut in an upwards direction. Another pin on the far side, so you're opening the thing up like a banana or anything else you would open in those ways. So then if we turn that around a bit, the organs are all neatly wrapped around one another, so the reproductive system tends to spiral around the digestive system, and with a bit of experience you come to recognise most of the organs, but you don't always need to know what all of them are. The important thing are usually the lower part of the genitalia, or the distal genitalia, and the penis is usually quite far forward. Bit of a splash of extra alcohol there just to clean it up, or you can suck it up with a pipette. That dark thing on the left is the eye tentacle retractor muscle, which has been cut through, and then there is the penis. Now, the characteristic feature of this species is a large penial appendage, that sausage-shaped thing on the bottom right of the middle of the picture, which is attached to the main body of the penis, which we'll point out now. So that's the main body of the penis there, sort of oblong thing. This is a penial retractor muscle, and these retractor muscles, they often look like rubber bands. They're shiny, they're strap-like, and quite elastic. And is that the appendage there?
Oh yes, that's the appendage, the penile appendage, as you can see. I'm just trying to bring it out.
So pretty conspicuous in that specimen. You couldn't miss that one. But this species, Ambigolimax valentianus, has this trick of being able to suck the penis, the appendage into the penis, so that it's hidden from view. So taking this one apart, and is that one there?
Oh yes. As you can see, the penile appendage is hidden right inside the penis. So I'm bringing it out. So you have to be very careful while you dissect them. It's just quite delicate, so you don't cut it apart. So as you can see, that is the penile appendage hidden inside the penis.
Great. So this one is the other species, Ambigolimax parvipenis, which is probably more common. And the name parvipenis means small penis, and there it is, a fairly small penis, smaller than we saw in valentianus. And it doesn't have any trace of an appendage hanging off the outside. You can see the retractor muscle in the bottom right hand corner there, that strap-like thing, but there's no obvious sausage sticking out at the top of that penis. But Suleiman is going to show us how you look inside something. It's a really small structure, that. It's only a couple of millimetres long.
It is.
So I guess you have to be pretty delicate.
Yeah. Very, very delicate when you dissect it, so you have to be very careful. And just to be double sure, I have to tear inside.
So here we have a specimen of Deroceras, a genus of field slugs, which also sometimes require dissection to tell apart. Are these nice to handle, Suleiman?
Oh yes, they're just the right size. If you want to really practice on your dissection, I really recommend using Deroceras reticulatum. Mm-hmm. It's just the right size and perfect for practicing your dissection.
Yeah, this one preserves some of the colours quite nicely as well. It's always nice when you can recognise the organs or distinguish the organs from each other by their colour. Sometimes lost in preservation. So, there you go, bang on target. Is that the penis there?
Oh yes, that's the penis. So right now I'm looking for the pineal gland attached to the penis. Sometimes they could be tucked away, so I'm trying to pry it out. Oh yeah, that is it. The pineal gland of Deroceras reticulatum.
Oh yeah, like a little wiggly thing at the tip of the penis. Yeah. And is this another specimen?
Oh yeah, that's another specimen. It's important to note that not all Deroceras reticulatum has the same pineal gland. There could be variations and differences, so watch out for those.
It looks like a feather or a hand or something like that.
This one looks like.
Yeah. Okay, that seems pretty clear. So this is Deroceras agreste, much rarer, and this is recognised by having a tiny unbranched pineal gland. So is that the penis there?
Oh, that's the penis. I'm looking for the pineal gland.
Difficult to see.
Yeah, so I just have to pin it down to make it much more sturdier.
Okay. And that's the retractor there, isn't it? Just tickling that.
That's the retractor muscle.
Yeah. The gland would be at the tip of the penis there, I suppose. And in this species, it doesn't look anything like a feather or a hand. There it is.
Yeah, that's the pineal gland.
Great. So now on to the large Arion slugs, which people see on their doorsteps. Large, robust slugs. They take a bit more work to take apart. They're like rubbery, tough. So you need a scalpel usually to start off, and then you can move on to using the spring scissors. And what are you doing with them there?
I'm cutting behind the mantle to make it easier to open, because they're quite very tough.
Mm-hmm. And you'll encounter these strands. These are retractor muscles. Again, they're elastic-looking things like rubber bands. You can snip through those. There'll be one to the tentacles, one to the penis, and one to the main body. But you're not going to do any harm by cutting them, and it makes it easier to open it up. Lots of bits get in the way with these large animals, so you have to wash them. And that's a full-size pin, I think, this time. So.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, they're very tough, so you need a full-size pin.
Yeah. And the main feature of these species is in the lower genitalia. In Arion rufus, it's the atrium which is really swollen, so that's that big P-shaped thing in the middle. And we need to look inside that for the really diagnostic feature, which is the ligula. That's a structure that's used in mating, and it has a characteristic shape, which is a bit difficult to describe using words. And as with the pineal gland of the Deroceras, no two of these slugs are exactly the same, so we're going to show you two here just to show you how it varies. So the ligula is like a big chunk of muscle that more or less completely fills up the organ that it's in. Some in Arion rufus, it's been described as C-shaped or rounded. Looks a bit like a cabbage sometimes, or a tongue-shaped thing. And this is another specimen. So again, that's the atrium there, and the ligula inside it is going to be roughly C-shaped. You can identify these from the atrium or the oviduct shape alone, but it's usually not much trouble to check inside, at least for the first few that you investigate. Oh, lovely. Is that it then?
Yeah, that's the ligula. Very massive structure.
Yeah. It's very muscular. It's a bit like a steak or something like that. And some pins in there just to hold it down. So that's the ligula. It certainly doesn't come in two symmetrical halves. Which is what we will see in this is Arion vulgaris, I think.
Yeah, Arion vulgaris. As you can see, there's the oviduct. The structure on the left is the epiphallus, so I'm just trying to reposition it so that you could get the oviduct in an appropriate position to dissect.
We don't need the epiphallus for this species.
We don't.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite muscular. It almost looks like a penis or something, the oviduct in this Arion vulgaris.
So I'm going to be cutting at the lower part of the oviduct to avoid cutting the middle.
Right.
You don't want to damage the ligula. So just give it a quick cut. Yeah.
Brilliant, yeah.
Now I'm going to pry it open to expose the ligula. Yeah, that is it. That's the ligula.
Right. Well, that definitely is symmetrical. Or did you accidentally cut it?
No. That's why you cut the lower part of the oviduct to avoid hitting it.
Right. Oh, yeah. That clearly comes in two separate halves, and it's elongate, kind of filling up that elongated oviduct, rather than the rounded thing we saw in Arion rufus. It also has a corrugated surface on it.
That's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed our video.
Don't be afraid to give the dissections a try, and I hope you find something interesting. Happy slugging.
Happy slugging.